As Vegeta stated in episode 129 of Dragon Ball Super, with the brief amount of time they were given to combat the other universes, it was the Saiyans who had the most limit-breaking displays of power, accessing new forms, growing stronger by the minute, and even undergoing character development. Kefla was one of these Saiyans whose power actually posed a legitimate threat to Universe 7, going from speed blitzing God Goku to possessing enough power to one-shot Ultra Instinct Omen 2 Goku. Goku was only able to defeat Jiren due to gaining a brief mastery over Ultra Instinct and taking Whis' teachings to heart. But what if Goku didn't bet at all on Ultra Instinct? What if he and Vegeta fused against Jiren in the Tournament of Power and instead relied on the power of the incomparable and ultimate fusion, Vegito? We'll be taking Goku and Vegeta from episode 127, though if we're being absolutely honest, the exact point in time doesn't really matter for this hypothetical matchup. It could be before the Saiyans and Android 17 team up to fight against Jiren, or after Android 17 seemingly sacrifices himself to buy Goku and Vegeta time to recover. We'll be going over two scenarios involving a hypothetical Tournament of Power Vegito vs Jiren, with the first involving a Vegito that has no time limit, and the second involving Vegito with a time limit. In order to understand how strong Vegito is, we need to go over Goku and Vegeta's power growth during the Tournament of Power, specifically from episode 97 to 127. This is obviously because both Goku and Vegeta make up Vegito, and their combined power results in Vegito's base power, depending on how you interpret the Batora Fusion Multiplier, which we'll be going over. Without further ado, let's get into the video, starting off with scaling Goku, but before that, let's ask Vegito on if he can beat Jiren. Vegito, are you able to beat Jiren, hypothetically, if you were in the Tournament of Power? Oh my bad. Let's try Jiren next then. Jiren, do you think Vegito could beat you if they fuse during the Tournament of Power? Vegito's power is formidable, but he's just a fusion. Really? True strength comes from one's own power, not borrowed power from others. Then that's a diss at the God Ritual. A lot of powers in Dragon Ball is low-key from that. That doesn't mean he won't beat you. Power alone is not everything. Even if Vegito's strength surpasses mine, my pride and discipline will never waver. Alright, I've had enough of this guy. Let's just... With Polybuzz, you can not only speak to created chatbots, but make your own. Feel free to make an event bot. Actually don't. It's a very popular app used by millions of people. If you want to be creative and build your own stories / roleplay with the chatbots like some old texting story videos in Prime YouTube, you didn't watch any of those? Go download Polybuzz. It's free to download. In the link in the description, use my code EVENT55 to unlock the Premium Plus for Polybuzz, as you can see it right here. To unlock the Premium Plus for Polybuzz, all you gotta do is type EVENT55 in the search bar, click search, and boom, you have it. Goku doesn't fight anyone that actually pushes him to grow stronger until episode 109 and 110 of Dragon Ball Super, which involves his first face-off against Jiren. Jiren's mere presence is enough to shake the Null Realm, an isolated place outside of the multiverse that literally has no time or space. If you want to know Dragon Ball world / cosmology building, check out this video. Goku starts off in base and fires a Kamehameha that doesn't even break through Jiren's aura. He has to go Super Saiyan 2 to budge Jiren's neck with a kick. Once he goes Super Saiyan God, he does make Jiren use a finger to block his punches, and those same punches have enough power to destroy the entire Dragon Ball macrocosm, as we saw in Battle of Gods when Goku clashed with Beerus ages ago. You also need to remember that Tournament of Power God Goku is many times stronger than that Battle of Gods Goku, and Jiren is still blocking those punches with just a finger. Goku has to use Super Saiyan Blue to actually move Jiren, but his punches don't even phase the warrior, as the moment he begins to fight back, Goku just gets destroyed. Not even Blue Kaioken is able to do anything to Jiren, who proceeds to just step on him and blast him away. Goku decides to gamble it all on the Spirit Bomb, which is fueled by the energy of Team Universe 7's participants. Goku throws the Spirit Bomb at Jiren, who doesn't even feel the need to use both of his arms until Goku goes blue, and once Goku uses Blue Kaioken times 20, all Jiren does is slightly raise his power, before he proceeds to blink away the Spirit Bomb. The power that Jiren emitted is enough to shock Shin, who states that Jiren's power feels unlike anyone they've ever faced before. Mind you, Jiren is still heavily suppressed, and hasn't even begun to show his true power. Shin would know the power of Goku Black, Sword of Hope Trunks, Merge Zamasu, and Black Arc Vegito Blue, and these fighters aren't even in the discussion when compared to Jiren's power. Goku falls into the Spirit Bomb, and is forced to adapt, or else he'll be killed, and uses the energy of the Spirit Bomb as fuel, which in turn triggers his limit-breaking form to surface, Ultra Instinct Omen. Since this is the first time Goku has used Ultra Instinct Omen, I'll be referring to it as Ultra Instinct Omen 1 for the sake of scaling. Ultra Instinct Omen 1 Goku is able to do better against Jiren than he has ever done before, obviously. But the form doesn't last for long. He's able to land a solid blow on Jiren, but before he can follow it up with another attack, the form gives out and his punch is stopped by Jiren, who acknowledges Goku's power, but makes it clear that he's done for now. It's only thanks to Frieza giving up some of his energy to Goku that he's able to continue on fighting in the tournament. There's no way to accurately scale the power of the Spirit Bomb, as it varies in strength depending on the enemy, as Goku doesn't throw it until he absolutely is sure it's strong enough. Jiren was the only exception because he was still holding back his power. You could assume that the Spirit Bomb is anywhere from relative to Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku, or a bit stronger, but again there's no actual way to be sure. All we know is that the difference between Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 and Ultra Instinct Omen as a form is massive, seeing as how Goku went from being unable to touch Jiren to landing a punch despite having a 20 times multiplier on top of his blue form, which is already 50 times that of regular Super Saiyan God. Goku at this point is heavily fatigued and gets roped into a fight with Kale and Khalifa, and is so tired he can't even use his strongest forms right off the bat. He has to work his way up in order to regain his energy, but it's not as if he needs a form like Blue to fight against Khalifa. Initially in base he's stronger than Super Saiyan 2 Khalifa, but she begins to adapt to his movements and techniques, especially once Kale jumps into the fight. Goku is then pushed to Super Saiyan 2, and in turn Kale finally learned to control her Berserk form and fights against Goku with Khalifa and continues to push him back. Goku has to eventually use Super Saiyan God to widen the gap completely, and from here both Kale and Khalifa seemingly hit their limit. They go from pressuring Goku to running away and getting tagged, as all Goku needs is a single arm to deal with each fighter. Goku intends to end the fight but commends them for their strength. Before his Kameo Wave can knock them out of the ring, Kale and Khalifa fuse using the Tora earrings and turn into Kefla. Base Kefla may not seem like much, but remember it's consistently shown in Dragon Ball that a base fusion has far greater power than both fusees at their strongest, which I'll explain more extensively later on in the video, obviously because the video. All you need to know is that Khalifa and Kale went from getting destroyed by a fatigued God Goku to becoming Kefla and speed blitzing him in base, whose power shocks both Goku and Vegeta, who's nowhere near the fight. God Goku now has to go all out and use every technique and trick he can think of, but they do nothing to Kefla. She shrugs them off and calls Goku's attacks pitiful, forcing Goku to use Super Saiyan Blue. Kefla powers up into her own version of Super Saiyan, which would still be a 50 times multiplier, even if the form looks different. The fight becomes much more equal, and Goku is actually able to damage Kefla once he transforms into Blue Kaioken, but gets caught off guard by a kick from Super Saiyan Kefla that knocks him back down to base. Goku's backed into a corner and forced to adapt, just as he taps back into Ultra Instinct Omen for the second time in the series, and is able to dodge all of Kefla's blasts. Kefla transforms into Super Saiyan 2, making her twice as strong as she was before, but she's not able to keep up with Ultra Instinct Omen 2 Goku's speed and reflexes. Though it's clear that Kefla has the raw power advantage, and Ultra Instinct Omen 2 isn't as strong as it should be. When Goku went Ultra Instinct for the first time, he had the Spirit Bomb as a way to temporarily replenish his energy, but prior to going Ultra Instinct for the second time, he had nothing, other than Frieza's ki that was donated to him, but that had likely been burnt through by episode 116. This is why Ultra Instinct Omen 2 Goku seems a bit weak, as Kefla straight up shrugs off his attacks, and Goku has to become more accustomed with the form to do better damage. The fight reaches its climax, and Goku has to lock in and dodge Kefla's laser beams, which Roshi stated could have one-shot Goku if he wasn't careful. Though with his superior speed and reflexes, he's able to dodge the attack, slide on Kefla's laser beam, and deliver the famous point-blank Kamehameha, which would knock her out for good. Goku is tired at this point, as he needs the help of Android 17 and 18 to walk. Kefla was a formidable opponent, as it's stated by Whis that Super Saiyan Kefla's power was stated to rival the Spirit Bomb, and once she had used Super Saiyan 2, she would have logically surpassed the Spirit Bomb in power. Her energy was so incredible that Piccolo states she might have surpassed Goku's earlier level, referring to Ultra Instinct Omen 1 Goku from episode 110. We later cut to episode 122 of Dragon Ball Super, which leads to a rematch between Goku and Jiren. Goku powers up to Super Saiyan Blue, and by powering up he's not only able to scare Jiren, and force him to move, but he's able to fight far better against Jiren than he did in Ultra Instinct Omen 1 and Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, which is why we had to go over those, as you're gonna see how generous and how we can lowball and say that Goku has at least surpassed the power of his Blue Kaioken times 20 self from episodes 109 and 110, which means that bare minimum, Goku has gotten 20 times stronger since the tournament began. He's fighting an opponent in blue and doing much better than he did compared to when he used Blue Kaioken times 20 in episodes 109 and 110, which couldn't even react to Jiren's power and speed. If you highball, you could say that Goku surpassed his Ultra Instinct Omen 1 self, but that's honestly pretty iffy. We jump to episode 123 and Jiren raises his power even more, with Belmod stating he hasn't felt this power from Jiren in a very long time. This level of Jiren far surpasses anything else shown, including the same suppressed Jiren that blinked away Goku's Spirit Bomb and one-tapped Vegeta after the final flash. Yet, Goku is able to power up and briefly trade blows with a much stronger Jiren. However, Jiren actually gets serious and begins to show a hint of his true power, which is so strong it knocks Goku back to base form. Goku doesn't even back down and simply states that he'll keep getting stronger, just as he powers up to Blue Kaioken times 20 and Vegeta breaks his limits and unlocks Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, which the directors have stated that Super Saiyan Blue Evolved is equal to that of Blue Kaioken times 20, so it should be a 20 times multiplier on top of Super Saiyan Blue. What's interesting is that not only does Jiren state their strikes are sharper, implying they have grown stronger than before, but even the narrator states both Goku and Vegeta have entered their limit-breaking forms, even though Ultra Instinct Omen is supposed to be Goku's limit-breaking form, which implies Goku's current power transcends the previous power he displayed against Kefla and Jiren. So yes, if it isn't obvious, by now, at this point, Super Saiyan Blue Goku has easily surpassed Ultra Instinct Omen 1 Goku from episode 110, and arguably Ultra Instinct Omen 2 from episode 116, though the statement is a bit iffy because it's kind of hard to say that Ultra Instinct Omen 2 is actually better because all it is just lower energy Goku becoming Ultra Instinct, which is kind of hard to scale. I don't want to put an exact number on it and say it's concrete, but for those who are genuinely curious, if we lowball to the max in order to be fair, you could say Goku got 2 times stronger post episode 123. This basically ends the scaling for Goku, as this hypothetical matchup, he fuses with Vegeta before tapping into Ultra Instinct Omen for the third and final time, which would result in Master Ultra Instinct, which we aren't using. We can now hop into the Vegeta section, which is a bit more brief, followed by figuring out how strong base Vegito would be in the tournament of power, and these are very important to know for the Vegito section, so I do recommend sticking around. Vegeta doesn't actually get pushed to grow until episode 122, where he cuts in to fight Jiren for the first time. Vegeta is immediately taken aback by Jiren's strength and states he's never encountered energy as strong and heavy as Jiren's, putting him way past any of the Black Arc enemies, therefore until now, which is still impressive considering Jiren is suppressed. Vegeta's willpower doesn't allow him to fall, and he pushes through, despite clearly being at a disadvantage against Jiren. He studies his movements against Goku and jumps back into the fight, being able to perfectly read his attacks and land a clean blow on him, before beginning to push Jiren back. Now it's made clear by Vegeta that Jiren is holding back, and he tells him to use more of his power, as he states he's used much more when he fought against Goku. Jiren accepts Vegeta's request, and as quickly as Vegeta had the advantage, he loses ground and nearly gets eliminated from the tournament. But he gets back up once again, and his tenacity garners him the approval of Jiren. Vegeta then begins to charge up a final flash, which generates enough energy to shock both Goku and Belmod, despite the fact that both fighters knew how powerful the Universe 7 Spirit Bomb was, which would actually put Blue Vegeta from episode 122 above episode 109 Goku, who used Blue Kaioken times 20. Jiren used his eyes to glare away the Spirit Bomb, whereas Jiren was actually caught off guard and had to physically block the attack in order to avoid damage. If you want to honestly highball Blue Vegeta, you could say that he surpassed Ultra Instinct Omen 1 Goku from episode 110, as Belmod was actually concerned for Jiren and pointed out that Vegeta was currently stronger than he was a few seconds ago, when he began to drive Jiren back. Vegeta fires the final flash and Jiren blocks, but if the attack actually had hit Jiren, it would have done a considerable amount of damage, kind of similar to how Cell got hit by the final flash. The final flash is a very powerful attack. Jiren then catches Vegeta by surprise and knocks him back down to base before moving on to Goku. He raises his power as I stated in the Goku section, and although Goku is able to briefly keep up, it doesn't last for long and he gets knocked back down to base. Vegeta gets back up and joins Goku in powering up, unlocking Blue Evolution. We get to see the true power of the form against Toppo in episode 126, who unleashes the power of his God of Destruction form. Initially the two are shown to be on par, but Vegeta has no way to actually damage Toppo. Toppo's God of Destruction form coats him in a Hakaishin energy which erases any sort of key attacks that hit him. However, once Vegeta is backed into a corner, he remembers what he's fighting for and essentially gets a rage boost, which allows him to break through Toppo's blast and surpass him entirely. He even goes as far as to punching through a Hakai, an attack that can erase anything it touches. This is due to the properties of ki, specifically Yuki, which is a powerful emotion that can amplify the ki of a user by an unquantifiable amount. Vegeta decides to use the same self-destruction technique he used against Buu to take out Toppo, except this version isn't as lethal as before. Vegeta initially struggles to overpower Toppo's Hakai blast, but he gains enough ground to overpower Toppo and eliminate him. What's even crazier is that Vegeta should have been done due to using most of his energy in the attack, yet in the next episode, he's able to transform into Blue Evolution again, and impresses Jiren with his punch, who states he can now understand how he was able to beat Toppo with the power he now possesses. This is essentially all for the Vegeta section of this video, and now we can get into this hypothetical scale of this base tournament of Power Vegeta. Upon Kefla being born, Vadal states that the Patora increases their power by tens of times, or essentially A plus B times 10, though the A and B in question would be the full power of Kale and Khalifa. This times 10 is honestly a lowball, as tens of times can mean anywhere from 10 to 99 times. The second multiplier you could go with is the one given to us in the 2009 Super Exciting Guide, which states that the Patora multiplier is A times B, or Goku's power times Vegito's power equals Vegito. The second option is much more overpowered, as you could literally times Saiyan Saga Goku and Saiyan Saga Vegeta's power to form a Saiyan Saga Vegito who would have a power level of 145 million, which in base form alone surpasses even final form Frieza. You can honestly pick either fusion multiplier, as it doesn't really affect the result of the matchup too much, other than either high bowling or low bowling Vegito. We do know for sure that base Vegito's power is even greater than that of Super Saiyan 3, or 400 times that of base Goku. As I previously stated, it's consistently shown throughout Dragon Ball that the base fusion always surpasses the full power of the base fusees. There was an example I brought up of Kefla, and even Vegito has shown instances in both anime and manga canon to where he outperforms Goku and Vegeta's combined power and base. Base Vegito in the Buu Saga's anime canon was rivaling or outright stronger than Buhan, but not by a lot, which is why he went Super Saiyan to completely widen the gap between the two. There's also the Dragon Ball Super manga, which involves a full power Blue Goku firing a Kamehameha that is only able to make a hole through Merge Zamasu, whereas base Vegito fires a casual ki blast that erases half of Merge Zamasu. His power is so great that Merge Zamasu actually mistakes Vegito's base power to be a new form. If you believe Vegito is either stronger, equal, or slightly weaker than Gogeta, whatever one you pick, I don't care, you can watch my video on it if you want to see what I think. This is further proven by base Gogeta outpacing and swatting away ki blasts from a bloodlusted Super Saiyan Broly, whereas Blue Goku and Vegeta's final Kamehameha was dissipated with ease, and they were running for their lives against Broly's ki attacks. So at low ball, base Vegeta would be stronger than that of even Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and I say this is a low ball because if you believe that the Patora fusion multiplier is Goku times Vegeta instead of Goku plus Vegeta, then base Vegito at a high ball would be above even Ultra Instinct Omen Goku or Blue Evolution Vegeta. Even if we low ball base Vegito's power, you need to remember that Ultra Instinct Omen free Goku at his peak was equal to a full power Jiren, and pressured Jiren into using everything he had to actually eliminate Goku. This same Jiren was stated to be above the Gods of Destruction in his suppressed state, so just imagine how powerful Jiren is at his full power. And now imagine how powerful Goku is in Ultra Instinct Omen free to be equal to Jiren. Ultra Instinct Omen free is obviously the final evolution of Ultra Instinct before Mastered Ultra Instinct in the Tournament of Power. This same Goku would then go on to get stronger by an unquantifiable amount once he unlocks Mastered Ultra Instinct, which pushes Jiren into an awakening. Initially, Jiren is above Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, but once he gets a morale boost from Krillin's speech, he becomes equal to Jiren, and in the end, he surpasses him after getting a rage boost. Mind you, this is just Goku on his own, not even including Vegeta's power, which would be either added or multiplied to Goku's via fusion. Now just imagine how powerful Vegito would be, and not just base, in Super Saiyan God. and especially blue. I also forgot to mention that there's numerous times in Dragon Ball that Vegito is stated to be the perfect fighter, which is logical as it's the combination of Goku and Vegeta's strengths and weaknesses, which are highlighted by Whis. Goku is cocky and not on guard, whereas Vegeta is too on guard and not as relaxed as Goku. But upon fusing, all these flaws are removed, and you just have a cracked fighter who states to not only be perfect, but the greatest master of martial arts in the universe. Though this is iffy, as this statement was made prior to Battle of Gods, and it's clear that Whis is the best martial artist in the universe, having trained Beerus for tens of millions of years, and also just being an angel. Regardless, Vegito is still up there in terms of martial arts, and with that level of mastery, he can use both Goku and Vegeta's techniques, or combine them. He's been shown to use instant transmission, the Kamehameha, Final Flash, and more. There's also Heroes which shows Vegito using forms such as Blue Kaioken, but since it isn't part of this discussion, I won't take it into an account, but I am just saying, he's probably able to do that, definitely. If Vegito can use a technique like instant transmission, something that took Goku over a year to learn, why wouldn't he be able to use higher forms like techniques or like Blue Kaioken or Blue Evolution? When you also tie it back to the statement of Vegito being the perfect fighter, he should be able to use Ultra Instinct Omen, possibly even tapping into Mastered Ultra Instinct faster than Goku did. So by now, if it isn't obvious, Vegito absolutely stomps Jiren, whether it's full power or an awakened Jiren. But what if Vegito's time limit wasn't infinite? What if it was the same as in the Black Arc, in which he didn't stay fused for longer than 10 minutes? Well, Jiren would certainly have the advantage, as all he'd have to do is outlast Vegito, but he wouldn't even know the specifications of fusion. This is also under the assumption that Vegito will be cocky and toy around, which is a huge misconception. Fans often take Vegito vs Buhan and use it as the gospel truth when arguing why Vegito is a fraud, but this couldn't be further from the truth. As I previously stated in numerous videos, Vegito only toyed with Buhan in order to anger him and force the idea of absorbing Vegito into his head, or in other words, indirectly manipulating him. Vegito could have one-shot Buhan at any time, but he was concerned for his sons and Piccolo, which is why Goku and Vegeta continue with Vegito's plan of freeing them from within. When it comes to Merge Zamasu, Vegito went blue immediately and made it clear he was going to kill him, that the only reason he didn't beat Merge Zamasu was due to his immortality hacks and not being aware of the time limit. The moment Vegito is born, he would remember his fight with Merge Zamasu and be sure to limit himself in order to not just defuse immediately. But even if you think this is headcanon on my part, it's fine. Vegito wouldn't play around and use all of his power to knock out Jiren, either going blue from the start or using Super Saiyan to gauge Jiren's power, then cranking it up and taking him out. Jiren doesn't stand a chance against Vegito unless you actually think he is cocky and plays with his food, which would be out of character. So in conclusion, Terminate of Power, Vegito absolutely stomps Jiren, who could have many power awakenings as he'd like, but he still wouldn't hold a candle to Vegito's power, even if you highball or lowball the Patora Fusion multiplier.